In 2014, USDA's Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service established a new national program to address feral swine and the damage they cause. The new program, which received $20 million in funding in 2014, will help APHIS and its partners deal with the rapidly expanding population of feral swine with the goal of reducing the devastating damage they cause. Feral swine have been called the world's worst invasive alien species. It is estimated that they cause $1.5 billion in yearly damage. About half of that amount is due to direct damage of agriculture. Feral swine eat a wide variety of crops and damage others by trampling or by rooting and wallowing in fields. They also create holes and ruts that can damage farm equipment, creating safety hazards and erosion problems. They also prey on livestock, particularly newborn goats, calves, and lambs. In Texas, which has the greatest concentration of swine, livestock predation is a significant problem. Feral swine compete with and prey on native wildlife, including threatened and endangered species. In Florida, feral swine have contributed to the decline of at least 22 plant species and 4 species of amphibians listed as rare, threatened, or endangered. This includes the endangered sea turtle. As they have spread into urban and suburban areas, they have grown increasingly accustomed to humans. They sometimes aggressively approach humans, particularly those with food. As they travel in populated areas, auto collisions increase, causing almost $40 million in damage in 2012. Their habits destroy parkland and vegetation, they rip through fences and irrigation ditches, and they can impact the cleanliness of the water supply. Swine carry at least 30 viral and bacterial diseases and nearly 40 parasites that can affect human health, livestock, and wildlife species. For example, a 2006 outbreak of E. coli in spinach that caused hundreds of people to become sick is thought to have been caused by feral swine. For the U.S. commercial swine and other agricultural industries, their widespread and growing numbers are potentially problematic. APHIS will target and monitor for 5 serious diseases they carry and could spread to the domestic swine population. These are pseudorabies, classical swine fever, swine influenza, swine brucellosis, and porcine reproductive and respiratory syndrome. Further, should a foreign animal disease break out, feral swine could carry and spread the disease throughout the country. This would make control and eradication efforts much more difficult and costly. It would adversely affect the U.S. export market, costing businesses and industry millions of dollars and potentially thousands of jobs. If nothing is done, swine populations would continue to expand. They currently exist in at least 39 states. Without action, feral swine would exist in every continental state, and their increasing population densities would only intensify the problems we already confront. In the face of these challenges, APHIS created and received funding for a new national feral swine damage management program. The overarching goal of our program is to reduce and in some areas eliminate the risks of and damages inflicted by feral swine. APHIS, through its Wildlife Services Program, will serve as the lead agency in a cooperative effort with other federal, state, tribal, and local entities that share a common interest in reducing these problems. Since every state is different, with different laws and a different natural environment, our strategy is to provide resources and support at a national level while allowing flexibility to manage operational activities on a local or state level. Our approach requires a number of important actions. State directors of our Wildlife Services Program will coordinate with state agency and other federal and tribal officials and other public and private cooperators on efforts to reduce swine populations in specific areas. APHIS also will provide technical assistance and support to private landowners. Our current tools for feral swine removal include ground and aerial shooting, along with a variety of traps. Because of their extensive populations and spread, lethal methods are currently the most effective approach. But as the populations come under control, non-lethal methods may play a role. Disease and population monitoring will also be a key component of the program. We will collect biological samples from populations of feral swine and determine disease risk through our national laboratory network. What we learn will enable us to focus our efforts to reduce risks of disease spread to domestic livestock. Research is essential. Our National Wildlife Research Center will be at the forefront of these efforts, including developing new measures to assess population controls. This includes toxicants and fertility control agents, as well as the best methods to deliver them to feral swine. We also need effective tools to measure populations and their location, which will better inform our national strategies, and will focus on ways of detecting infectious disease in their population, including the potential use of vaccinations to stop the spread of disease. The FY 2014 Appropriations Bill gave APHIS $20 million for the new program. This enabled us to begin coordinated operations in the 39 states where feral swine are present. APHIS, in partnership with the states, assessed the populations of feral swine and is providing operational funding based upon those levels and other factors, such as the ability to stop the further spread of the animals. This baseline funding is not permanent and can and will be adjusted in the future, particularly as the success of the program shifts our needs. We will also fund specific projects on a national and local level. National projects include comprehensive disease monitoring, economic and risk analysis, and aerial support for population control. Local projects are coordinated on a state level by APHIS with our cooperators to address specific issues within states. Examples of the kinds of locally targeted projects include efforts to protect nesting or young endangered sea turtles in South Carolina, marshland protection in Louisiana, and targeted population control to protect livestock and agriculture in Texas. And where we can, we hope to leverage our partnerships with states to fund some projects on a cost-share basis, which will maximize the effectiveness of our federal spending. We're doing all this in support of our overall goal of reducing the devastating damage caused by feral swine. We will reduce their spread in their population. We conducted a pilot program in New Mexico in which APHIS eliminated swine from 1.4 million acres of land. We'll use the techniques and lessons we learned there to inform this national strategy. We can eliminate feral swine from 2 states every 3 to 5 years and stabilize feral swine damage within 10 years. If we did nothing, swine populations would grow larger, they would spread to additional states, and the problems we already face would get much worse. With an estimated $1.5 billion in yearly damage already, inaction is not an option. These animals cause damage to crops, kill livestock, destroy property, harm natural resources, and carry diseases that threaten animals and people. It's critical for us to manage and eliminate this costly problem wherever possible. For all these reasons, APHIS created the new National Feral Swine Damage Management Program, and with help from other federal agencies, along with our state, tribal, and local partners, we will have a strong, successful program that stops feral swine and reduces the damage they cause.